Do you remember your favorite movie growing up? They entertained us, made us laugh, made us cry. But have you ever considered how these stories might have subtly shaped the way that you see the world? Especially something as complex as a romantic relationship. I want to view one of my favorite movies from my younger years, the 2000s film Love and Basketball with the Critical Process. This film was directed by Gina Price, by the way. This was her debut film as a director. Gina was a writer for shows like A Different World and Felicity and the movie South Central. Spike Lee was the producer for this film through his independent production company, 40 Acres and a Mule, starring the talented duo Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan. Love and Basketball tells the story of Monica and Quincy, two childhood friends navigating their intertwined love for basketball and eventually for each other. It's a film many of us remember fondly. To understand the potential influence of this in other media, we can turn to the cultivation effect. This theory, developed by communication scholars like George Gardner, suggests that our long-term exposure to patterns of messages within media content, especially popular forms like television and film, can gradually shape our perspectives of social reality. Now let's consider the cinematic landscape around the 2000s. When Love and Basketball was released, romantic comedies often followed certain familiar patterns, many centered on the idea of finding the one. And while female characters might have had their own ambitions, these were often intertwined with or ultimately resolved through their romantic relationship. Think about how often the happily ever after focused on the couple coming together. In Love and Basketball, we see Monica and Quincy both fiercely pursuing their basketball dreams. However, their romantic relationship often presents a source of conflict. Consider the moments where Monica's dedication to her sport is perceived as a challenge to their connection, or where Quincy's expectations about their relationship creates friction. Think about the scene where Quincy expresses his discomfort with Monica's intensity and her competitiveness, perhaps saying she's too aggressive or not girly enough. How are Monica's ambitions and Quincy's traditional expectations clashing in this moment? What message might a young viewer absorb about how women should balance ambition and romance? Then think about the film's resolution. While Monica achieves her professional goals by playing in the WNBA, the narrative ultimately empathizes the enduring love between her and Quincy, culminating in their reunion and starting a family. Consider the final scene where Quincy essentially puts his NBA career on hold to support Monica's dream, and their reconciliation is framed as a major achievement. What message does the film ultimately send about the importance of romantic partnership and family in achieving fulfillment, even for a woman with a strong career aspiration? Does the narrative subtly suggest that true happiness involves finding the one? Beyond the main plot, let's consider any subtle undertones about gender roles. Even though Monica is a strong, independent athlete, there are moments where traditional expectations for women in relationships surface. This could be in conversations with her mother, who encourages her to be more feminine to attract a man, or in the way Monica herself sometimes questions whether pursuing her career might cost her her relationship. These subtle cues, repeated across various media, can contribute to a cultivated understanding of gender dynamics within relationships. Madeline Goldberg, in her Analysis of Romantic Comedies, highlights the genre's tendencies to rely on a predictable formula and often reinforce traditional gender roles. While Love and Basketball features a strong female character pursuing her athletic dreams, it is important to consider how the film's narrative ultimately prioritizes the romantic relationship potentially aligning with Goldberg's observation about genre's heteronormative focus and its impact on cultivated expectations. Thinking back to when I first watched Love and Basketball at the age of 11, I remember being swept up in the romance and admiring Monica's determination. However, with the understanding of the cultivation theory, I now consider how repeated exposure to similar narratives in media might have subtly shaped my own subconscious expectations about relationships and the roles of women within them. Did I perhaps unconsciously internalize the idea that even strong, ambitious women ultimately find their greatest fulfillment in romantic partnership? The power of the cultivation theory lies in its understanding of the cumulative effect. It's not just one movie, but it's the consistent repetition of certain themes and portrayals across countless films, TV shows, and other media that contribute to a shared understanding of social reality. This has broader implications for how we view gender roles, relationship dynamics, and even our own aspirations. In conclusion, while Love and Basketball is a cherished film with positive messages of ambition and love, analyzing it through the lens of the cultivation theory reveals how its narrative structure and emphasis on romantic resolution may have subtly contributed to a cultivated understanding of relationship expectations for young female viewers in its time. By understanding the principles of the cultivation theory, we can become more conscious consumers of media. It encourages us to critically examine the stories we love and consider the subtle ways that they may be shaping our perspectives of ourselves and the world around us. Just because a film is a favorite doesn't mean it's free from potentially underlying messages.